When the police began digging into what appeared to be a normal soakaway pit, they expected to find dirty water and waste, but instead, what they found were multiple human skulls. One by one, the decomposing remains of 4 people were pulled out of the concrete pit, and one of them was so fresh that flies were still buzzing around it. The man who owned the house stood there watching, calm and quiet, while his neighbors screamed in shock. That was when they finally understood why their quiet neighbor, who sold shoes for a living, had built such a tall fence around his home. But the worst part was still coming. 2 of his small children would later make a chilling demonstration to the police, which would make it clear that they had been watching their father commit his numerous atrocities. This is the horrifying story of Anthony Ndubuisi, a full-time shoemaker who made serial killing his weird side hustle. On June 9, 2020, Mr. Jumiene Ofo had prepared to leave his home in Aba, Abia State, Nigeria, for what he believed would be a routine business transaction. The trader had supplied shoes worth 500,000 naira to his business partner, Anthony Ndubuisi, and was now traveling to Port Harcourt to collect his payment. Before leaving home, Ofo did something that would later save many lives. He carefully wrote down Anthony's address and phone number, leaving these crucial details with his wife. He explained that he was going to collect money from a customer and that he would return home shortly. It was a precaution that seemed unnecessary at the time, but would later prove to be the key that would unlock a chamber of horrors. Ofo arrived at Anthony's well-secured compound in Umu-Ebulu 1 community, a Che local government area of Rivers State. The house was impressive, a 4-bedroom flat surrounded by an unusually high fence that completely blocked the view from the street. Anthony welcomed his business partner warmly, just as he had done with his previous victims. He invited Ofo into his living room and then offered him a comfortable seat, even providing refreshments as they discussed the payment. However, this hospitality was nothing more than a deadly trap. What Ofo didn't know was that he had just walked into the lair of a serial killer who had been perfecting his method of murder for months. The shoes he had come to collect payment for would soon become his own death sentence. Back in Aba, Abia State, Ofo's wife waited patiently for her husband's return. One day passed, then another. By the second day, her concern grew into alarm. Her husband was a reliable man who always kept his word about returning home, implying that something was definitely wrong somewhere. The address and phone number Ofo had left behind became a lifeline. His wife immediately contacted the police, providing them with Anthony's details and explaining the circumstances of her husband's disappearance. She told them about the business relationship, the debt that was owed, and her husband's plan to collect the money. The police launched an immediate investigation, and when they contacted Anthony, his responses raised red flags. He claimed he had never seen Ofo and also denied any knowledge of his whereabouts, but the evidence was clear. Phone records showed that the 2 men had been in contact, and there was also proof of their business relationship. Sensing deception, the police intensified their investigation. Through intelligence gathering and careful detective work, they began to piece together a disturbing pattern. Anthony's name had been mentioned in connection with other missing persons cases, even though no one had previously made the connection. On June 29, 2020, operatives from the anti-kidnapping unit moved in for the arrest. When they apprehended Anthony, he initially maintained his innocence, but under interrogation, the weight of evidence began to crack his composure. Faced with overwhelming proof, Anthony finally broke down and made a confession that would horrify even the most experienced police officers. Anthony led the police to his compound, where the team prepared for what they thought would be a search for Ofo's body. But what they would eventually discover would be far worse than anyone would have ever imagined. In the compound, very close to the high fence, was what appeared to be an ordinary soakaway pit covered with concrete columns. Anthony revealed that this was not just a sewage system, it was his personal burial ground. The police sought the help of neighbors to begin the grim task of exhuming the bodies. As they dug deeper into the pit, the full extent of Anthony's crimes became clear. They recovered the decomposing body of Ajume Enofo, still fresh enough to be identified. But under his remains, they also found 3 human skulls and the remains of victims whose bodies had completely decayed. The soakaway pit had been intentionally constructed to save a dual function. While it appeared to be a normal waste disposal system, Anthony had designed it as the perfect hiding place for his victims. The concrete covering made it impossible for anyone to detect the smell or discover what lay beneath. The residents of Umuebulu 1 community were stunned by the revelations. For months, they had lived next to a serial killer without knowing it. The man they thought was a quiet, harmless shoe dealer had been systematically murdering people just a few meters from their homes. One neighbor told investigators that Anthony had always been a loner. He never participated in community meetings, refused to join environmental sanitation exercises, and also avoided social gatherings. On Saturdays, when neighbors would meet to discuss community issues, Anthony would carry his bag and claim he was going out for business, but would simply disappear for hours. The then youth president of Umuebulu community pointed out something that many had noticed but never questioned. That was Anthony's unusually high fence. The barrier was so tall and solid that it completely blocked any view into his compound. The fence had been Anthony's greatest asset in concealing his crimes. It ensured that no one could see or hear what happened when he lured his victims into his compound. The isolation it provided had given him the confidence to carry out his murders without fear of discovery. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this case was the involvement of Anthony's own children. When police arrived at the compound, they discovered that Anthony's wife had fled, abandoning their 4 children. 2 older children had also disappeared, but 2 younger ones remained in the house. These children had witnessed horrors that no child should ever see. During questioning, they revealed that they had watched their father strangle each of his victims. Using their tiny hands, they demonstrated to the police exactly how Anthony would approach his victims from behind and then twist their necks in a deadly motion. The children disclosed that their father had threatened them with death if they ever told anyone about what they witnessed. They had been living in constant fear, watching their father commit murder after murder while being powerless to stop him or seek help. One of the children had actually tried to warn people the day before the police discovery. The child told neighbors that their father killed people and put their bodies in the septic tank. But no one believed such a crazy story from a young child. If the adults had taken this warning seriously, the investigation might have been resolved much sooner. During his interrogation, Anthony provided chilling details about his method of operation. He explained that he had been targeting fellow traders and business partners, people who trusted him enough to visit his home for legitimate business transactions. Anthony would contact potential victims, usually people in the shoe business like himself, and then invite them to his house, either to buy goods from them or to sell items to them. He made sure to choose victims who dealt in valuable merchandise and also had access to significant amounts of money. After the victims have arrived in his compound, Anthony would play the perfect host. He would invite them into his living room and then offer them a comfortable seat, sometimes even providing drinks and refreshments. This hospitality was designed to make them relax and also lower their guard. When the victims were seated and comfortable, Anthony would excuse himself and then move behind them. In one swift motion, he would grab their necks with both hands and then twist them immediately, killing them instantly. The victims had no chance to fight back or to even call for help. After confirming that his victims were dead, Anthony would drag their bodies outside to the septic tank and then dump them inside. He would then collect their money, mobile phones, and any valuable goods they had brought with them. The shoes and other merchandise would be sold through his legitimate business, providing additional profits from his crimes. Anthony revealed that he had started this killing spree in February 2020, just 4 months before his arrest. In this short period, he had murdered 4 people and also collected a total of 800,000 naira from their families through ransom demands. His method was particularly cruel because he would often contact the family of his victims, demanding ransom money for their release. The families, desperate to save their loved ones, would pay the requested amount, not knowing that their relatives were already dead. Anthony would collect these payments and then simply disappear, leaving the families to wonder what had happened to their loved ones. 3 of Anthony's 4 victims were foreign nationals from Togo who had come to Nigeria for business purposes. These victims were particularly vulnerable because they were far from home and also had limited local connections who might notice their disappearance quickly. The 4th victim was Ajumene Ofo, a Nigerian trader from Aba whose disappearance had finally led to Anthony's arrest. Ironically, Ofo became Anthony's downfall because, unlike the foreign victims, he had a wife in Nigeria who knew exactly where he had gone and also had the local knowledge to contact the police when he failed to return. All of these victims had been legitimate business people who trusted Anthony based on their previous commercial relationships. They had no reason to suspect that their business partner was planning to kill them. When Anthony was arrested, police recovered 2 pump-action guns and cartridges from his compound, suggesting that his criminal activities might have extended beyond kidnapping and murder. The then Commissioner of Police, Joseph Mukan, condemned the incident and declared total war against perpetrators of such heinous crimes in Rivers State. He urged members of the public to increase their security consciousness and also report suspicious characters and movements to police.
Where do you stay in Port Harcourt?
I stay in Garrison.
Garrison?
Yes.
Where in Garrison?
For 5 Transamado Garrison. But there's a name.
What is the occupation? Which work do they do?
I don't say shoes.
Shoes?
Yes.
For where?
In local and English one.
Yeah, you get shade?
Yes.
Where your shade there?
For Ezemone house.
Okay. What about your family? Do you have family?
Yes, sir. Here is my family.
Oh, this is your family?
Yes, sir.
Now here you stay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what time will you come here? Where you bring police come here today?
I did kidnap people to kill them.
Again, so what you know the police come here today?
Yes, the police come here because of I did kidnap people to kill them.
How they do them?
I did strong them for hands.
How? Tell us.
I did hold them for neck.
They hold them for neck. How do they take come here?
I did invite them, kidnap them.
Okay, they invite them. How do they take invite them?
They go no. I will tell them to come. From there, kidnap them to enter.
Tell them to come do it. How do they tell them? Just tell them they will be income.
Some business people.
Okay, some business partners.
Yes.
If they tell them to come buy something from you or you want to sell something, give them.
And they tell them, say, come and I won't buy something from them, or they come and buy it to me.
And they bring the thing come here.
Yes.
Like waiting.
Shoes.
Shoes, okay. So, which time we start this business?
This year.
This killing, which time?
This year.
Which time this year?
February.
How many people we don't since that February? How many people we don't kidnap and kill?
4.
4 people now you don't kidnap and kill. So if you kill them, how they do them?
I don't put them for this soccer.
This soccer we were outside here.
Yes, sir.
What about your wife? Your wife, they don't see you.
My wife know they see me. My wife they go market.
People know they see you.
People know they see me because only me they leave the compound.
Okay, they live for the compound. Who get this compound?
I miss.
Oh, now you beat them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So show us where the dead body is going.
Yeah, support it.
Now, how do they put them for this septic tank? How do they put them?
They go die.
Okay, they go die first before you come put them. How do they take them?
So I will hold them for neck.
They hold them for neck until you go strangle them,
Yes.
then die. How many of us don't do this business? Wait, how many of us do this your gang? Na only you go kill person. Go kill person, put them for soccer way too. No, it's not possible. Now. Tell us.
But I will tell you, please.
Only you they kill the person.
You know that.
And so far now, 4 the body nine day for here.
Yes.
The police also indicated that they were investigating whether Anthony had accomplices who assisted him in carrying out the crimes. Unfortunately, after Anthony's arrest and the discovery of his victims, there have been no further updates on the case. The investigation that began with one missing trader ultimately exposed a killing spree that claimed 4 lives and traumatized an entire community. What do you think about this horrifying case? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching and stay safe.